this is, I usually use this for my soil when I'm potting up, or I used to, but I want to try something different with it down here. This is where I grow my seeds. It's where my worms are. So hopefully later this week we can get to that. But it's cold outside again. Winter has returned for at least a few days, and I'm supposed to be spending my week down here catching up on my seeding. So I thought I'd take you down here, show you where I'm at, what things are looking like. It's not all going well, some is, but yeah, I do have a few mistakes already this year. Okay, so first up, I thought we would look at the cuttings I did a couple weeks ago, and to be honest, I'm kind of bummed with how they're looking. And this is totally my fault. I put the lid on, I put them under lights, the same thing I did to the round before. And like the first batch I did, they look great. They're all potted up. They just rooted after a few weeks. So success. So I didn't really think much of it. I put this batch with the lid on under the lights, but I put it on a different shelf, and it was right against the lights. I think with the amount of moisture in there and then the heat from the lights, it was just too much. So yeah, a lot of them kind of show like a fungus. The leaves are turning brown, they're dying. Some full out just died and rotted. But yeah, so once I realized what was happening, I moved it to this set of lights. I opened up the vents, gave it a little bit more airflow. And it's not a total loss. Like I think some of them, oh, like, yeah, look at this. We have roots. So it's not like, I definitely have some, so it's fine. And the chrysanthemums at this end, yeah, they're showing roots too. I think chrysanthemums just root a lot quicker and probably can tolerate worse conditions. So maybe I'll just get this out of here and pot up what I can. And oh yeah, look at more roots. Anyways, lesson learned. You have to keep an eye, not too wet, not too dry, not too close to the lights. So I don't actually have a lot seeded. I think other years I might have a bit more seeded, but I'm trying to not be over aggressive with seeding too early on. So this side here is my cuttings. At the top is the Perennial scabiosa that I seeded a month ago. It is looking great, so super happy with that. And then I have my eucalyptus babies on this shelf too. I do find they look okay. I find I have difficulty when they're so little, either overwatering them or underwatering them or giving them too much fertilizer, and I always lose some to, like, I'm not exactly sure, their leaves kind of shrivel up, and yeah, it doesn't always mean that they're going to die, but at this stage I feel like it's a delicate time. So they look okay. I think they look okay. Hopefully in the next few weeks they really take off and we're past this sensitive stage. Okay, so most of what's in the basement right now is Lisianthus. I have my first 3 rounds seeded. So I started with my orange trays mid-January. Then I did all my green trays. I filled up my pink trays for my 3rd round. And this week I need to do my 4th round. So yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with the growth for the first few, considering when you see a fresh tray that's just uncovered, how tiny they are. And then I come and look at my orange trays and I think, oh yes, we have growth. So not all of them have germinated great. I'm trying to use up all my old seed, and I had some seed that was 4 years old. Yeah, so that did not germinate well, but for most things I have fairly good germination rates. Yeah, and so this is the first year that I seeded my Lisianthus by putting them into the soil blocks before I pushed the soil blocks out. And my goal was to not have to break off any of the pellets after they germinated. Or I know a lot of people spray their trays down, and I've never liked spraying. I get a lot more algae and I just find it very time consuming. So I'm not a mister with a spray bottle on my seedlings. But I have to say that I'm very happy. There's very few, yeah, that look like this where I still have to break the pellet. Like, I think that's the, yeah, I just don't have to do that this year, where other years I was breaking off a lot more pellets after germination. Okay, so the worms and me are feeling a little squished. I don't know, I keep a container by my kitchen. I fill it up with food scraps and stuff that I know that the worms will eat. And I have quite a bit. I feel like more food than I have room to feed. And I can always use more castings. So I don't think I want another worm tower, because I actually think I want to try this. I think this might be easier to feed into, and it's just more space. So what I'm going to try and do with this blue bin is make a wedge system worm farm here. So I'll still have the 2 towers, but I can give them a little bit more time to process the food without jamming more in there. And then I'll also have this little farm here. So the idea with a wedge system is that you put your worm castings, more finished compost at one end. So this is where I dumped the tray from my tower. So there's worms in here, and there's lots for them to still finish. And then you cover that with bedding. So I am using leaves, and I have cardboard and other stuff to put in. And then it's kind of the next wedge in the system. And then I will feed into the bedding area. And the next time I will put in some more bedding and feed into there, and everything from this far end will slowly finish, and the worms will, like, the idea is that they'll move across and keep eating their way down. So I think it'll be easier for me to quickly feed in here. That's the idea. And then also easier for me to find some finished worm castings at that end without having to pull apart my whole tower. So I don't mind my towers. I just want to try something new, and I just need more space for worms so I can grow more worms and ideally get more castings. Okay, I found this like thicker sheet of plastic down here in the basement. I'm going to use that as my lid because I don't want it to dry out. So if there's nothing on top with the dry air in the house right now, I want to prevent that. And then I also like my makeshift place here. I put some wood down to stop it from rolling just in case, and it's slightly sloped. So if it's too wet, because I do tend to feed a lot of stuff that has a lot of water in it, that will drain to this end, so I can keep an eye on if it's too dry or too wet. If it ends up being too dry, I can always add more moisture, but I don't. The problem with making videos is that I think if I didn't, my family probably wouldn't realize what I'm doing down here. But now they might see that I've put a barrel of worms and I don't know what they're going to think. But I think this is super cool, and I'm crossing my fingers that I have success with this. So when I seed a tray, it usually comes on this shelf at this side of the room. So these blue trays are this week's round of Lisianthus. So I'm working on the blue, I'm not quite done. So this last pink was from 2 weeks ago, and the rest of them have all moved over there. But this one I'm waiting a little bit longer on. I think it's the last one I did. These shorter trays I'm using just for the random stuff. So I have so far Cresspedia, feverfew, dianthus, and a few snapdragons. So I'm going to hopefully do more of that this weekend and next week, and some of the other cool annuals or perennials. I got to dig through my seed box and see what I have. And down here I have some space to get some more trays in this weekend. The bottom are the delphinium that I took out of the fridge. So I put them in the fridge, I don't know, mid-January, and I'm super excited about all of them that have popped up now. Yeah, they're looking great. So that's super cool, because delphinium has become a new favorite thing for me to grow. And then this is the first few tubers, dahlia tubers I potted up. And yeah, I think I'm going to have to start taking cuttings soon. So we'll see if these, if I have any luck with these cuttings this year. Okay, so I just counted. I think I have room for 38 more trays down here, which is super. That should keep me busy for the next couple weeks. And then, yeah, I think we're only like maybe less than 20 days until spring, but some of this stuff can start transitioning to the garage, and then, yeah, in a month, possibly out to the wagon outside. So, yeah, I think it looks good. Even though there's like less trays than I normally have for February, I'm happy with where I'm at, and I'm trying to be very intentional with what I'm seeding this year, so I don't grow things that maybe I don't need to, or that I won't possibly sell. So, and I haven't I haven't let a tray dry out yet. Usually at some point I kill a tray or two by not watering out, but actually I'm looking at this tray. It's not dried out, but this is one mistake. This was the very first mistake I made this year, is that it's eucalyptus and I seeded it. I put the label in, and then I realized there was already a label in the tray. So I had grabbed a tray that I thought was empty and I double seeded it with two varieties, different varieties of eucalyptus. So it's a little bit crowded. They look okay. I'll just make sure I give them extra space in the field this spring. So yeah, that's my seeding room for the end of February. Thank you for coming on my little tour down here, and thank you for watching and subscribing and liking and becoming members. All of that, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again next time.